Hi, Sarah. It's so nice.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Would you want to share your story?
Yeah. Like many of the people you probably talk to or are listening, I've always been an anxious person. I just didn't realize it. So, in high school, I was really concerned about always staying on top of things, right? I never wanted to miss school because I thought if I fell behind, I would lose control. I had to sleep every night for 8 hours, or else if I was too tired the next day, I wouldn't be able to be productive. Like, you start to see looking back that these things that I didn't realize were anxiety were actually anxious thoughts. My junior year of college, I decided I'm going to study abroad. I want to go to Paris. And that was like a dream of mine. And I was so excited and I worked so hard and I saved up all this money and I got into the program. I went there and I was so excited that I wasn't really that nervous until the first night came and I couldn't sleep and I just panicked. I thought, if I don't sleep, I'm going to have that feeling I had in college. I'm away from home. I can't just go home. I can't go to my safe space. I'm stuck. Just this overall feeling of not feeling safe. And I went home. I went home like a few days later and it felt like a total just disappointment. Like my anxiety was ruling my life. This is what it was always going to be like. It was always going to hold me back from doing the things that I wanted. It was very, very difficult. Now in hindsight, I realized it did get better. Like slowly, very slowly, because I was fighting against it. Very slowly, it got better. But what I was doing was I was trying to do everything possible to get rid of it. I thought, well, if I have brain fog, I must have something wrong with my brain. I got a head scan. I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I got allergies tested. I was convinced I had mold in my house. Like I was just doing a lot. I had found your TikToks maybe a year ago. And I remember vividly, it was the one where you said, it just right out, it was probably one of the stories that you shared, but you said, I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was losing my mind. And I was like, nobody has ever shared their anxiety story that way. I thought I was the only one who felt like they were going crazy and was afraid of that. I loved watching your videos, but I remember in the middle of the night thinking of you. And I actually got on your TikTok account. I started binge watching all your videos, which probably wasn't healthy, but I did. I just watched it. And it gave me really this feeling of hope. I'm like, look at this woman. And it wasn't until I found one that you did on sleep. And I was like, oh, maybe she can help me with sleep. So immediately joined your community. And I just, again, started binge watching all of your videos. And I am not suggesting people do that. And we'll get back to how I got a healthier relationship with your videos. But I learned about the 3 principles from you. I was on a walk out in the woods listening to you talk about them. And I definitely didn't get it. I listened to Sid Banks, definitely didn't get it on like an emotional level, but I understood it intellectually. I don't know, like something clicked. I said, well, what happens if I just don't do anything? Like Lily's sort of just telling me like, it's a thought. Thoughts are neutral. Let them flow. You only give them the power when you give them that sort of emotional response when you do something about them. What do I do? What happens if I try to let that go? Well, I couldn't. I was too hyped up. But the night before a big trip for Christmas, where I was so afraid I wasn't going to sleep, I had a call with you. We had our first one-on-one. I decided I need more than just the community. I wanted the Peace from Within program. I wanted a bit more one-on-one time with you because I really could tell that this felt different, your teachings, but I just needed more. And I'm actually staring at the notes that I rapidly wrote down. But the one that really stuck with me was when we are feeling really off, our thoughts are really off, right? When we are feeling bad, our thoughts are really distorted. Do not believe them. And then I told you about all these things I was doing and how I was trying to fix it. And I was watching all these videos on people with insomnia. And you were like, I'd be really interested to hear, how this would, what would happen if you just focused on your journey. That's their journey. What happens if you just focus on your journey? Like if you just stay away from those things that might not be helping you and you just see what happens with you. And I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, sure. I've tried everything else, right? Like, let's try it. And I went on my trip and I didn't sleep great. But I did sleep and I didn't worry about it as much. I distracted myself. I stopped focusing on it. I did not let myself Google. I did not let myself even really talk to people about it. I told my husband, I don't want to talk about sleep. I don't want to talk about anxiety. Leave me alone. Let's just focus on our kids and having fun. And I wasn't comfortable. It was not like I wasn't totally carefree. I didn't do anything. And I noticed that the less I did, the more I slept, and I'm not talking, I'm sleeping 9 hours. I mean, I was getting like a couple of hours, but that felt better than nothing. And I slowly started to realize that if I let go, everything sort of just like fell into place.
when you're like, I'm not a scary place,
Mm-hmm.
we forget that because we return to our safe space, but we're still bringing ourselves there. Like our safe space is actually in our mind. It's in our quiet mind. It's so common to think I have it worse. I'm actually really mentally unstable. I am a scary place, because it can feel really, really scary. And I love that it stuck out with you that when we feel really off, our thinking is really off.
I actually still last night sat in bed for a couple of hours thinking, oh God, I can't fall asleep. But through your learnings, didn't panic. I didn't try to fix it. I didn't try to change my thought. I just sort of sat with it and was like, it's okay that this is uncomfortable. This is what it is. Everything, just like nature, everything is going to change. And finally, I realized that I'm not a scary place. I have everything within me to take care of myself. And also just this understanding that genuinely my thoughts are neutral. Sometimes they're scary and I don't need to believe them. Sometimes they're beautiful and I should believe them, and when they're happy and when they make me feel good. And it seems so simple, but it really, your program was really like the turning point. But I am still working through it. I don't do as much. And honestly, that feels really peaceful because I'm exhausted. And I'm sure somebody listening right now is exhausted. It is exhausting. And I can tell you that when you sort of just step back and really believe that inevitably things will change, because they will. I mean, even looking back, I told you about that year after I quit my job. I mean, it got better. It did. And I fought it tooth and nail and it still got better, right? I did everything to get in my own way. It still got better. And really, thank you, Lily. Your program, I would say, and I don't take this lightly, it's changed my life. So thank you.